Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Hello there, good morning, and welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television. My name is Henry Uzo, and of course, we are set to take you around again this day on events and happenings around the globe. Success is also in the studio.
Good morning to our viewers from across the globe. Welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television, where we bring you top stories and headlines making waves around the globe. I am Success Benjamin, and Ify is here in the studio.
Yes, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning, midweek, and we're excited to have you with us this morning on Morning Dew. So one thing about the midweek is it gives you the opportunity to rearrange yourself just in case the earlier part of the week hasn't been springy.
To finish well.
Yes, so you can get your act together and put forward your last salvo for the week before we say thank God.
It's Friday.
Weekend. It's Friday. Welcome. I am Ify Arono. Thank you so much for being here. Let us get going. Let's go.
So how are we? And okay, people don't buy fuel. Yesterday I went to the filling station.
We do.
You do buy.
Most Nigerians
buy fuel one way
or the
other.
Absolutely.
Okay, and of course I had to buy at 1,400. There was a woman there who was shouting and said, how? It was 1,000. It was below 1,200. What's happening? I was the one who calmed the woman down. I said, Dangote is now selling in dollars. You see?
Oh, wow.
I'm up to date.
Exactly.
That means that a liter of fuel is likely exchanging for $1. That's
where we are now. That's where we are now.
So, and that does not mean that it's going to be stable at that. We're likely going to see a markup.
If there's a fluctuation
in the price of
naira against the dollar, there we are.
So here we are, Nigerians. Hopefully there is a good end in sight to all of this, and possibly we can begin to enjoy the dividends of being Nigerians soon enough. I believe that this will not be taken.
We keep looking forward.
No.
We will always survive.
The woman is not alone.
We will always survive.
Before long, every other person will begin
But this is where we've been getting it wrong, that we will always survive. And that is why
we encourage
Nigerian
ourselves.
Citizens are actually not really standing up to the government to say, this you are doing is not right. Let's do it this way, or this is how it should be done. That is why we found ourselves in this situation we are right now.
And for instance, if there's how do we stand up to government? Is it to protest? People are protesting.
You said it was yesterday.
Yes.
We're going to begin to see the ripple effects of that. Nigerians are going to start talking.
Yeah.
Do not worry, just relax.
By the time it affects
I am not okay with it.
Maggie in the market. Okay, you are not okay with it. And we are protesting already.
Yeah.
All right, viewers, I'll just stand by. Next will be news update, and of course, success has it. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Welcome to News Update on Morning Dew. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has increased the pump price of premium motor spirits, PMS, commonly known as petrol, across its retail outlets nationwide. The new price is 1,300 per litre in Lagos, up from 1,118 naira, while motorists in Abuja are paying between 1,270 naira and 1,330 naira per litre, depending on the location. The adjustment is a third petrol price increase in 2 months and follows recent disruption in the downstream sector after Dangote Refinery temporarily suspended gantry loading and introduced dollar-based pricing for refined products. The development pushed up prices at private depots, prompted NNPC to review its rates. Meanwhile, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, And the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, have called on the federal government to intervene to stabilize fuel prices and prevent the domestic market from becoming dollar dominated. Now, the former Miss Universe Nigeria faces deportation in South Africa. Chidima Adesina has appeared before the Cape Town Regional Court to challenge efforts by South Africa Department of Home Affairs to deport her. The court hearing follows an application filed by a legal team which argues that the deportation process is unlawful. Adesina was arrested in June after immigration authorities alleged she was living in the country without legal status. She is expected to present the affidavit detailing the steps she has taken to regularize her immigration status in a bid to stop her deportation. Adesina, who was born in Soweto to a Nigerian father and a Mozambican mother, withdrew from the Miss South Africa 2024 competition after questions were raised about her family's citizenship documents. The case remains before the courts. The controversy also sparked widespread social media attacks on Adesina because of her Nigerian heritage, in spite of the fact that she was born in South Africa and met the eligibility requirements for her citizenship documentation. Now on entertainment, Nollywood actress Destiny Etiko has revealed she lost 5 million naira after placing her first ever football bet on Argentina to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals. Following Spain's victory over the defending champions, the actress took to Instagram to express her disappointment, saying, the experience was so stressful that she had decided to quit both betting and watching football. In a post quickly attracted mixed reactions online, while some fans sympathizing with her loss, while others cautioned against taking large amounts of money on gambling. Now on sports, Premier League referee Anthony Taylor has announced his retirement from Allied football officiating, bringing an end to a distinguished 20-year career. The 47-year-old said the intense pressure and constant public scrutiny influenced his decision to step down after officiating Spain's 1-0 victory over Portugal in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Taylor oversees 831 professional matches, including 432 Premier League games, and officiated 2 FIFA Cup finals, the 2023 UEFA Europa League final, and the 2 FIFA World Cups. Despite earning praise for his professionalism throughout his career, Taylor also faced repeated abuse from fans, including an incident in 2023 when he and his family were harassed by Roman supporters after the Europa League final. Now, on foreign news, the U.S. forces carried out a 10th consecutive night of airstrikes on Iran after President Donald Trump vowed Tehran would pay many times over. Following the details of American soldiers, Iran responded by reportedly targeting U.S. military sites in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan, raising fears of a broader regional conflict. Maritime security has also deteriorated. 2 tankers carrying Saudi crude turned back in the Red Sea after Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels threatened to attack vessels using Saudi ports. In the Strait of Hormuz, an oil tanker was trapped by an unidentified projectile, while Iran's Revolutionary Guards said 2 other tankers caught fire after separate explosions. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun met President Trump at the White House as Lebanese troops deployed to a southern town following an Israeli withdrawal under a U.S. brokered In Washington, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Daniel Kane, are expected to face tough questions from lawmakers over the ongoing military campaign. And that's it for news updates. Stay with us as Morning Dew returns with more exciting segments, discussions, and much more after the break.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. And of course, there's something that stood out before we go to the papers.
Okay.
Somebody, an important personality, is crying online that she's taken
5 million.
5 million Nigerian naira.
Five million.
And somebody is
That
saying
was
that.
brave.
A woman for that man.
Now,
That was brave.
Now, this
A
issue,
woman.
when you watch the television, there is this issue of everything you're seeing, especially when they play football. Naira bet, 1x bet, without sounding as if I'm exposing any particular. There's bet everywhere, bet Niger. The thing is capturing everybody, the youth, and now a woman.
Yes, it's actually a season for winning. So everyone, wants to take advantage of it. Like, taking advantage of your psyche, your, business mind likewise. And it's a season of winning anyway. But and as people are also winning, they are also losing. That's just
No,
it's
but
a game
taking
of
5
football.
million
5 million.
naira.
But there's something I needed to point out.
Take more.
The fact that Success had said a woman, and you also said a woman. I don't know why we always go through the gender route to
No,
things.
no, but
Trust me.
there are certain
No,
things
having
that
that kind of mind.
there's
Do
a
you know
level.
how much men stake?
I
They
know,
do.
but
That is a man,
I
but
thought
a
no.
woman that is
I'm not
supposed
trying
to,
to indict you, but there are certain things that you normally will want to put past a woman.
That's when you will,
No,
have
no,
some
I don't
certain
think it
things
has
to,
anything to
take care
Do
of.
with gender.
Do with
Yes.
gender.
Okay, I agree
Yes.
with you.
Intelligent, but
You-
I agree
no.
with you.
Everyone would think that Argentina would win, whether
Yes.
man or woman.
Yes.
Okay,
So she felt
I
it
didn't
was
think so.
going to be a walkover.
I didn't think so.
There was a lot of people who would have staked even higher than that.
Yes, of
Even
course,
in
I know.
Nigeria,
I
and they
know.
lost.
I know.
They
I
did.
know.
The
I
only
know that,
reason
of
this is
course.
coming out is because this is a destiny tickle.
Okay.
No.
Yes, so
okay.
anything
Maybe
she
because she
mentioned-
brought us to
Of
the
course,
public.
it's a
Yes.
destiny
And then
tickle.
maybe
brought
she could
us
have,
to the
she should have,
public.
he could have kept quiet.
No, she couldn't
After-
have. You don't know her. She calls herself drama doll.
She is.
So
She is.
everything, and she placed it on her social media.
Yeah, she
but
is.
because she is destiny tickle, it became news.
All right. How do we sympathize with you now? And of course, everybody that did not speak up but lost money
Yes.
to the welcome.
Yes,
We are here. Everything happened in far away, not America.
Yes.
And here we are losing money.
Accept as
And
equal.
Money that we would have put into other
It's-
uses.
You get that's what
Especially
I'm
when the
saying.
economy-
And for a woman,
Imagine how-
that
Can you
Oh
stop?
no, she told
Can
she
you
stop this
stop?
woman thing.
Oh my God.
Stop
Yes.
this one.
No, it's
but
biting
because the
somewhere
woman, it will
anyway.
bite more.
Uh-huh.
She-
Biting
it will pay her
somewhere.
more.
Remember
Ah.
SDG 5, gender equality.
Yes.
Let's maintain
It's
Okay,
that.
biting
okay.
somewhere. That
Thank
money
you,
could
Fee.
have,
Thank you,
go
Dr. Fee,
for
reminding
some
us.
important
Well, let's
things.
go straight to the papers and look at the news that make headlines. Now we start with the Daily Times. Safe Schools Initiative. Senate probes TED Fund, NEL Fund, UBEC, Humanitarian Ministry, NSIPA. Then, of course, up there above the master, we have fake agency. National Assembly summons NSA as Foreign Affairs Ministry disowns illegal PFIPC. CBN holds interest rate at 26.5% as reserves rise to $52.52 billion. That's from the Daily Times.
Now, bringing us to the nation this morning, we have there stable interest rates to consolidate gains and $500 million World Bank backed a Greek scheme take off. Then OPE leads Nigeria's fight against digital fraud. Now, the major headline there say NSA in November, later to ministry, PFIPC illegal. House panel invites Ribadu, Bianca Ojukwu, Oyedele others. UK Prime Minister to discuss Tinubu's reform. And that's it for donation.
Let's move on to the Sun, the Daily Sun. Beside the banner head, we have this: xenophobia, reps probe losses by Nigerians in South Africa. That's the lower house of the National Assembly, the Green Chamber. Atiku's lobbyist submits records on alleged Tinubu's US forfeiture case to Trump and Congress. Furious with federal government over 8.05 billion naira appropriation for mosques and churches. PFIPC is still in the news. CBN fingers Attorney General on bank account opening. Foreign Ministry confirms rejecting Adeyemi's request for collaboration. Reps panel summons Ribadu. And we also have on Daily Sun, 2027 Appeal Court affirms INEC's power to issue guidelines for elections. These are the topical ones on Daily Sun.
And bringing us to this day, 31 winners emerge in 2025 licensing round to boost Nigeria's oil gas output plan. All conditions must be met within 90 days, says Eyesan. A Nigerian business leader and investors speak out. Protection of life and respect for the rule of law. Now we have, beside the masthead, we have winners of NUPRC's 2025 licensing round emerge. And that's it for this day.
Well, next we have our own The Pointer. It says Oboriwo Riswezi new appointees demands integrity. Reps summon NSA minister over fake agency scandal. And of course, Asaba Monarch to FRSC, why traffic violations are rising. That's what we have in The Pointer.
And bringing us to Business Day, FG chases crypto regulation while $40 billion blockchain vision lies idle. Nigeria awards 37 oil blocks to 31 firm in historic frontier basin bids. Now we have here CBN's rate hold reinforces inflation fight despite easing price pressure. Strict US European visas push Nigerians to Kenya, Rwanda for summer. And that's it for the business day.
Over now to Daily Trust, and below the banner head, we have Reps panel summons NSA over Phantom Council. Adamawa, Bruno, Kaduna, 14 others to experience flood from July 21st to 27. That's already on course. Why CBN retained interest rates at 26.5%, the topical story on Daily Trust. NNPCL's 7.1 trillion naira energy security spending faces scrutiny. We see a photo, a gory one of what flooding has done, and that's in Katsina. Flood sweeps away two brothers. That's a sad one in Katsina. Insecurity is still in the papers. Tinubu approves new battalion for Kwara. Months to elections. Opposition parties still battling crisis in Katsina. Let's move on.
Now, bringing us to Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have fresh crisis rocks Ondo Assembly over alleged 44 million naira Osopadek fund. Africa now words hunger epicenter with 309 million hungry people. Tension heightens in Anambra as suspected gunmen kill four headers of same parents. Troops rescue 27 kidnapped victims for adoption in Sokoto. Eating more beans, soy / high blood pressure risk by near 13% study. And Nigeria's Jameson powder market to hit $30.5 million in 2026. Now the major story there, ONSA SGF disowned Adeyemi during 2025 inquiry, Foreign Affairs Ministry. Reps to meet Minister of Justice, Accountant General today. Then above the masthead, we have outcry over expensive graduation fees. TED Fund and NEL Fund, UBEC other under searchlight as Senate extends Safe School Initiative probe. And that's it for Nigerian Tribune.
Next is The Guardian. On The Guardian, we have FG shops for investors as NNPC's $3 billion North oil exploration lags. Under the masthead, we have reps call for adult audit of seized recovered assets since 1999. And FG's 75 trillion naira debt to NNPCL exposes hidden fuel subsidy, says Oye. And then, of course, Lagos State Government sacks Assemblies North. 6 Assemblies North on infrastructure financing, 200 billion development bonds. We have PFIPC probe. Reps issues ultimatum to MDAs as Falana acquits Adeyemi's defense. Safe schools. Senate extends probe into TED Fund, NEL Fund, UBEC, others. And of course, NIHSA warns of flood risk in 17 states, urges immediate evacuation. CBN pegs interest rate at 26% as Middle East tension raises inflation fears. That's all from our dear Guardian.
Then moving on to the Punch, the reps intensify fake agency probe, give MDAs 48 hours ultimatum. Defense Minister denies quitting, threatens court action. NSCDC busts fake Lagos varsity, rescues 107 students. Tinubu okays armed battalion for Kwara. House tightens nods on MDAs accused of frustrating phantom agency investigation. Where we have why Femi Falana withdrew as Adeyemi's legal representatives. FG floats 729 billion naira power bond August. And that's it for the Punch.
Let's look at the front cover of Vanguard newspaper. We find this major story still on the phantom agency. Reps to ONSA explain why you ignored a lot on PFIPC. Demand answers on security lapses, issue final notice to concerned MDAs to appear. We rejected PFIPC's request for collaboration. That is coming from the Foreign Ministry. Above the masthead, 31 firms emerge winners in 2025 licensing round. ECOWAS reaffirms plan to roll out ECO single currency in 2027. And towards the base of the paper, we have this one on xenophobia. Reps seek compensation. Okay, we've seen that earlier. Nigeria can't scale $1 trillion economy on shaky terrain of weak governance. And that's coming from Vice President Shetima. We also have Pandef calls for minimum 60% of total oil blocks, marginal fields for Niger Deltans. These are the major stories on Vanguard today.
Now bringing us to the Empire newspaper, leave him to work. And the banner, the major headline there, Niger Delta Group backs PAP boss. Dr. Otwaro warns detractors, says he has repositioned amnesty program, delivered unprecedented results. And that's it for the Empire newspaper.
And that does it as well on newspaper headlines for this morning. Yeah.
All right, yes. We'll be joining Dr. Boki when we come back.
Wake up with us every Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on Dott Television.
Recall that 46 pupils, teachers, and the school principal were kidnapped on May 15.
You are saying you are the chief security officer, but he doesn't have the power to control, call on the commissioner of police. The government has to step in to ensure that they get the proper mental
Therapy.
health care, even if it means some sort of relocation from that particular community to somewhere
That's a
else.
possibility.
Yes.
Where are we headed as a country if our children are this-traumatized from childhood?
When the chips are down, you'll find out that women are able to expand.
Your Voice Africa, showing every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dott Television.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. We have from the papers quite a flurry of headlines that are of interest, and we'll be joining Dr. Ambrose Iboke, all the way from Enugu, to join us. Dr. Ambrose, good morning.
Good morning.
Dr.
It's good to be here this morning.
Yeah,
Good morning,
how's
everybody.
everybody?
Welcome.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, we'll go straight to business. We have quite a flurry of issues to look at. Now, let's start with the fake agency, PFIPC. Now, we see buck passing between the Accountant General's office and the central bank on the opening of account for an agency that is deemed fake. How are we going in this matter of investigation? What does that tell us?
Well, I think both sides are talking too much. When you talk too much like this, that means there's smoke somewhere, and then we always say there's no smoke without fire. So fire is being stoked somewhere. This back and forth is not necessary if the deal was actually genuine, if what they accuse the man is true. We are talking about the cases being going to court, investigations are going to try, wants to commence and the rest. So let them do what is necessary, investigate the man as they say they are doing, and charge him to court, and let the court have the say, and let the evidence and all this talk be done in court. I think we are doing too much of media trial and media talk. Let it be done. But by a fake agency that doesn't exist to have an account with the CBN, these are the things that make the countries, other countries of the world laugh at us. These are the things that render us not serious. Because if we cannot run basic things, and if somebody finds his way, not to a commercial bank, but to the central bank of the country, and somebody is able to do that, then that means that we have a lot of problems in the country. Investors' confidence is there. Foreign direct investment will be affected. People who want to do business with Nigeria will be confused. This is not good for the image of the country. I don't know why we keep appearing for the negative reasons when it comes to.
All right. Are you saying that the press should not be involved in the matter? They should just go ahead with their business and keep the press away from it? The public will want to know. Don't you think so? Hello? Are you hearing us? All right.
Dr.
How do we?
Ambrose, from what he has been telling us, he believes
Yes.
that the issue is being overflogged.
Yes.
And the fact that when there is truth, truth does not hide. There are no shades, there are no shadows. So that means that both sides, there might be an indictment, and that's why the court option has not been fully explored.
Yes.
All of these probes are just happening by the side. We've also seen the foreign ministry coming out to absolve itself. The foreign ministry led by Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu, she's also had to appear there to clear herself and said that they refuse to collaborate with that agency. But I do not know, at the point where they refuse to collaborate, why did they not perhaps mention it at that time? Because they may have smelled the fish at the time to have refused to collaborate with the agency at the time. But we've also seen the counsel to Adeyemi, SAN, Femi Falana, withdrawing from the case. So these are the things, Dr. Ambrose, I believe that you've rejoined us. Welcome back.
Yes.
That was a technical hitch on your end. We've also seen the counsel to the embattled boss of the Phantom Agency, Adeyemi, Femi Falana, has withdrawn from this case. So how do you see this panning out, especially now that this highly respected attorney has withdrawn? What do you think would have led to his application at this point?
And the implications too.
Well, I cannot say because I don't work for him and I don't. He didn't state his reason explicitly. Maybe they were for personal reasons, maybe for professional reasons. Sometimes when the lawyers look into the cases of their clients, and sometimes for ethical issues, they will say they don't want it. Sometimes if there's a personality clash with the issues, they will say they don't want it. And so there must be many reasons why Mr. Femi Falana has said he doesn't want that he doesn't want to represent the man again. But that is his right and his prerogative. We cannot force him to do that. The man in question who is being investigated has capacity to hire as many. There are so many senior advocates of Nigeria. There are so many erudite men of jurisprudence that he can, render services to him. So for me, I don't think it's a big deal when it comes to that. The one that befuddles me mostly is that the CBN having back and forth with the Accountant General's office. That is to show you how disconnected and discordant we are, and how disorganized we are when it comes to running affairs of Nigeria. How at that level, we are not talking about one small SME here. We are talking at the highest level of governance, the central bank of the country and the Accountant General of the country are having this kind of exchanges. It's shameful indeed. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dad. Now let's go to the issue of NNPCL, 7.1 trillion naira spending on security. Now, reps calling for scrutiny. Is it coming a little too late? And then what are we hoping to get at the end of it all?
NNPC has become a behemoth of contradictions and opacity, where we have not had transparency in NNPC for so many years. There have been so many cases against NNPC for years. I remember Fela's song titled Army Arrangement, where he talked about $2.something billion oil money that was missing, that they set up inquiry. I mean, this song he sang is almost 50 years old. NNPC was still in the heart of the matter. Over the years, NNPC have been accused of so many frauds and so many things. And recently, NNPC was being accused. We got to know that NNPC is an agency of government where, it makes revenue, controls revenue, then spends whatever it deems fit for its operation, and then returns the balance to the federal government. What kind of country runs that way? Where an agency of government makes money on behalf of the federal government, does not remit it, keeps it, spends it, disburses it, then after spending, whatever that was remaining goes back to the balance. There was even a time we were told that NNPC for 10 years did not remit it, did not remit it to the federal government. So these are the contradictions we are having. Yet, this same NNPC have 4 refineries that are moribund, that are not working. 4. Yeah, this NNPC imports fuel, gives license for people to import refined products of petroleum. And then when we check NNPC, when NNPC was being drafted, there were other national oil companies, especially by OPEC nations and by other oil producing nations that were also created. When we say Saudi Aramco, Saudi Arabia is national oil, and Saudi Aramco is running efficiently like any conglomerate, any private conglomerate we run all over the world, making huge profits. Today, Nigerian doctors and nurses are immigrating to Saudi Arabia. Today, top stars, footballers are migrating to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia citizens look like princes and princesses and queens and kings in their own country. The same oil that we have. Now, when you go to Brazil, the national oil is called Petrobras. Petrobras is equivalent of NNPC in Brazil. Petrobras is doing big business and they are doing very well. All the refineries are working. They are doing multinational and multilateral, businesses all over the world. When you also go to Gazprom in Russia, the same thing. The Gazprom is doing so well. And so if other national oil companies, Venezuela has their own too, doing well. If all national British Petroleum, that later became Shell, I think, or something, it's also there, why is our own NNPC not doing well? If you go to Angola, go to other countries of Africa that have oil, their national oil companies are doing great. So there's a fundamental error that we have engineered NNPC to fail. And that is why NNPC will keep on telling us that all kinds of stories like this. Because somehow, somewhat, all the past administrations that Nigeria had has enabled NNPC to continue to, be like a vehicle for all kinds of financial misappropriations over the years. Yet, when these things come up, probes and counter probes and many probes against NNPC for so many years, nobody has gone to jail for it. It's illogical. One cannot even begin to imagine the logic of how NNPC operates. It's a pity.
All right.
Okay, Dr. Ambrose, so can you tell us what level of transparency is expected from NLPCL? For is being a limited liability company and solely held by the federal government. What level of transparency can we expect?
It's easy, very easy. I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. These companies have mentioned that are national companies. Go there and see how they're operating. One of the things that Nigeria has refused to do.
Okay, we're actually talking of seven. Yes,
we're having some sound issue there. All right.
We're talking of 7.1 trillion naira.
7.1 trillion, yes.
I think that at this point, Nigerians should take a pause and look at some of the issues. That is why we are where we are today. Now, Dangote has almost a monopoly of the industry, especially
as
when
it
we talk
stands
about,
now.
yes, as it stands. And that is why Nigeria is forced to buy fuel at dollar rates. Now that we have economic depression. So I believe that when Dr. Ambrose comes back, as he addresses that beautiful question from Success, he can also talk to us about how we can begin to hold these agencies accountable. It's good that this information
are coming out this
time.
time.
Yes, it's coming out at this point.
But why this long? Why the probing this long?
So
all right,
those are the issues.
let's handle this light-hearted one, hoping that we'll get Dr. Ambrose back. Now, eating beans can sour high blood pressure. Now,
beans
all right,
and soy.
I think
beans and
Dr.
soy,
Ambrose.
beans and soy, beans and soya.
Okay, beans and soya together.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Dr. Ambrose is
Dr.
back.
Ambrose is back.
Yes, you were speaking to us, Dr. Ambrose. You had the thoughts you were sharing.
Yeah, the network is acting up this morning, but whether they like it or not, you must say
the show goes on.
I like that. All right, so let's go to this one. Economic
question Success raised about the
transparency.
Yes, what level of transparency?
What other companies have done is to use technology to ensure there's transparency. Nigeria has that technology at its disposal. It's not rocket science. but Nigeria will not implement it because NNPC has been used as a sleaze entity for a lot of misappropriation over the years. What did Saudi Arabia do? Let me tell you what Saudi Arabia do. Saudi Arabia used intelligence monitoring for their pipelines, for example. All the pipelines that are carrying, even where they're extracting the oil from. But for the starters, Nigeria may not even know how much oil it's extracting from the ground because most of the time it's the foreign companies that extract our oil that do the exploitation and exploration for us. And they just tell us, oh, this is what they got. I don't know the capacity of our monitoring and evaluation in that regard. Secondly, we need to fix that so that Nigerian expertise can be involved and we can know, not people telling us how much oil we have when we have our own experts. Secondly, what Saudi Arabia did was to engage what you call precision and instrumentation engineering, where from the time the oil is extracted, those for export are tracked until they are sold, the money automatically goes back to the government. Therefore, the one that was to be refined for local consumption, what happens is that from the extraction to the refinery, it's monitored by sensors, by AI, everything is there. Then from refinery to the depot, to the filling stations, everything is tracked online, real time, through instrumentation and through precision and that. It goes until the buyer, the last user, consumer, fills it into his tank or her tank and drives off. That is where the monitoring stops. So in this way, every liter, every drop of oil is monitored. The sale, the movement, and the dispensation is monitored. And that is how they get their money back. But I happen to know one or two people in NNPC hierarchy some time ago. And one of them, who is high up there, brought people, experts from overseas, how they can safeguard our pipelines and the rest. They didn't see the light of day. Do you think that Nigeria doesn't know what to do? Nigeria knows what to do to make sure that NNPC becomes profit to track whatever money and everything that's coming from NNPC. But Nigeria is refused to do it. Government after government are refused to do it because NNPC is simply a cash cow that goes into more private pockets than the federal account, and it has stayed that way. And no government is willing to change that right from time. And so we know what we are doing. We exactly know why we have kept the NNPC the way it is. We know why we are bringing in refined products for local consumption. There are businesses that are the big businesses that are sprung up because of that. And it just shows that at the end of the day, the successive governments are more interested in pecuniary gains for themselves, not for the general good of the citizens.
All right, moving on to economics now, or do we say finance? Interest rate, CBN has pegged it at 26.5%. What is that for us as Nigerians? Does it make things better, or we're still facing grim challenges? Is Dr. Amos still there?
What happens is that we can't do business well in Nigeria. That's what happens is factories we keep closing, unemployment we keep spiking up. We can't borrow to do business. SMEs will die because I remember one interview granted by one foreign news outlet with Aliko Dangote, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And I think that was the time he was building a refinery in early stages. And they were asking him, because I think he borrowed $4 billion from banks from South Africa for initial stage for a refinery. And they were asking, why do you need to collect from Nigerian banks? And he was like, Nigerian banks, their interest rates are too high. Because, Nigerian banks don't do single-digit interest rates. They don't. That double digit is not even, something that is in 11%, 12%. Imagine 26%. So when you do 20, that is when you fixed it. Some banks go beyond even that, and there's some lend at 35%, some lend at 30%, and the rest. So if you borrow, so that is why most businesses in Nigeria are into trading. And that is why even people who have licenses for modular refineries, for industries cannot build because we cannot even borrow from Nigerian banks. What are you producing that you can make profits when you borrow money at 26, 30%? Nothing. So people prefer trading where they pass the cost of the interest to the end user. So that is why everywhere you look, it is trading. When somebody has said, well, when you go to Nigerian ports, go to Tinkan, go to Apapa, you sit down there. When you see a ship coming into Nigeria, it's loaded with containers, loaded to the brim with goods from outside of other countries coming into Nigeria. But when it leaves, it goes empty. But the maritime practices in everywhere in the world for a country that is serious about production is that when ships bring in cargo, they move cargo also from that country out. But there's nothing Nigeria is sending out. All our major factories are dead because of this kind of policies. So people cannot borrow a single digit. Then we are not ready to change the economy. The economy will keep dying. We keep losing jobs. We keep closing factories. Inflation rate will be high. And then we keep on going to the backwaters of political progress.
Dr. Ambrose, for CBN leaving the interest rate at the 26.5%, what message do you think the CBN is sending to the economy by keeping the interest rate unchanged?
Well, I've said that already, which is the message is that SMEs we are not welcome. Smallholder businesses will not progress. Businessmen cannot borrow for agriculture, for example. You can't borrow to set up factories. You can't borrow to even do international trade. You cannot borrow because our naira is down. We went up of the exchange rates. Imagine, I was telling a colleague yesterday that I used to feel it as of 2020 with 22,000. I filled my tank on my car. Now it's almost 100,000 to do that. So how do I? Some people do international business. They keep complaining from Nigeria and then the business partners will tell you we have not increased our price. Something that was $100 in 2020 is still $100. But in 2020, what we are paying in naira equivalent for 100 days was lower. Now we have it high. So the message CBN is saying with all this thing is that we are not ready for business. We are not ready for a progressive economy. We are just going to put this down and keep moving money around, and nothing is going to happen. And that is why most business people are into trading and not into manufacturing.
Dr. Ambrose, now that we understand that the naira is not doing well, we've also seen some experts calling for non-protection of the naira, that the naira doesn't need to be protected now, that it is important for our currency to begin to compete. How does the CBN begin to lead this recovery of the naira? Where do you think the teething issues are? Because we've seen a depression, perhaps the worst in the past century even. So talk to us about where we can begin if we're going to save the naira at this time.
Naira cannot compete because all the elements, fiscal elements, economic indicators cannot allow naira to compete. One, our major export commodity that we are supposed to use in making serious money, oil, has been mortgaged, has been sabotaged because the quota we are supposed to use for domestic consumption, we have frittered it away. We have given it to foreign countries. So what happens is that we now go to those foreign countries, pay in forex. So pay in hard currency, and then move it back to our country and sell in naira. So the first thing is that we are not even a producing country. We import toothpick, tissue papers, we import notebooks, we import everything is important. Basic things, because our manufacturing sectors are dead. How can we compete when China, America, Russia, Ukraine, all these countries that are competing with us subsidize their manufacturers, subsidize their farmers, subsidize their businesses? The last time, I think it was during Obama or Obama time or first coming of Trump, I can't remember again. Ford Motors was, I think General Motors also. I think General Motors wanted to, win out 40, lay off 40,000 workers or something like that. These people gave them, and the American government floated them with some money so that the American citizens will not lose their job. That is how countries work. I grew up in Warri in a larger steel plant that employed that time more than 100,000 people. Bashita Nigeria Sugar Company, my father worked there, employed more than 300,000 people. Around 50,000 were normal staff, and about 250 were called casual staff. Kaduna Textile Mill, Pojo Automobile, the battery company in Badon State, or many other companies, the rubber plantations, Delta Glass, really, all this thing. Where are these companies? That is where you cannot say, okay, Naira can compete because we have export commodities. Even the ones who can export, like football, like talent, like nursing, like medicine, we are not, the government is not tapping into it. Right now, government is stopping recruitment agencies from coming to Nigeria to recruit. During Buhari's time, some people came to recruit for Saudi Arabia government, and they stopped them from recruiting our doctors. These are things we can do to ensure that we make sure that our Naira can compete. Naira competition is not CBN issuing stories or saying subsidy is gone in the national TV. So why are we subsidizing in the first place? We are subsidizing because we cannot do local refining of our products. We are very shameless when it comes to Committee of Nations. Because I think among all the open nations, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, we are the only country that are importing refined products. So Naira cannot compete. And these people should stop fooling us. And they may have all the economic indicator or degrees or whatever they call. But simple economic logic is clear. Naira cannot compete with any foreign currency because there's nothing we're exporting.
Okay.
So we are not supposed to float Naira. What are you floating? You're removing subsidy. Americans are subsidizing their farmers. And that is why China, they say that is why when Chinese products come here, they are cheap because of the subsidy they enjoy from the government to export. But
all right,
here,
Dr. Andrews. Dr. Andrews, let's go to other areas. Now, our representatives are now demanding or seeking for compensation from South Africa on the issue of xenophobia. This compensation, is it to Nigerians that were that suffered losses or to the government of the country? Which way is this demand going?
I think the Nigerian government should not hide itself in shame. We are embarrassment to serious nations. South Africa is killing its citizens, turning them to refugees, sending them home, and we are still here talking about compensations and this. We have not taken any serious action. We have not even expelled the ambassador of South Africa to Nigeria. We have not recalled our own ambassador. I don't know whether that one has resumed duty or not. We are still here making speeches. I was ashamed when I saw my Vice President Shetima in AU, asking AU to correct South Africa. What kind of shame is this? Is this still the Nigeria I grew up as a kid? Nigeria was taking decisions for African continent. Nigeria was fighting apartheid. I remember when I was in primary school, secondary school, on top of our blackboard in Warri, they were right on top of the blackboard, apartheid is a crime against humanity in every classroom. Nigeria was in the forefront of sponsoring apartheid, spending over $60 billion. Come to the 1990s, when Liberia and the Sierra Leone were turning the West African continent into a huge war scene. What did Nigeria do? Nigeria galvanized others and funded the ECOMOG, where we sent in soldiers and mobilized, paid for others from other countries, and make sure that those wars were brought to an end, both the wars in Sierra Leone and the war in Liberia. This is the same Nigeria. That somebody is tampering with your citizens, and you are going to AU to beg AU to talk to Mr. Ramaphosa. I think we have gone too low. We have gone too low. It's
All
a
right.
sad development.
You mentioned ECOWAS as you were talking just now, and we have this story that talked about ECOWAS still reiterating the idea of a common currency, eco currency.
By
Is it
2027.
feasible? Is it possible to
It's
have
not
a
going to
common
work.
currency
It's not
where
visible.
you have?
It's not visible because the francophone countries keep sabotaging it.
Okay.
And because of that, because the francophone countries take instruction from France. So no matter what you discuss at African level, the truth is the diplomatic relationship between the francophone country and France make them just taking instructions from France. It has been so many years now, going to 30 years, we're still talking about one single currency, ECO. How is that going to function? You are talking about a single currency where you don't have a single, although ECOWAS is trying now with a single passport, but we still have borders. If I'm going to Benin Republic, or I'm still going to pass through borders and all those things. So I think first of all we should fix the thing. They have tried by having ECOWAS passports, but even at that, the ECOWAS passport is not very tight in the sense that the various countries still have their own. But let's do what the EU did. It's not just about having single currency. It's about what economic structures do we have, what economic advantage or disadvantages are there. That is why even at the forming the EU, Britain had to backtrack when he saw that the the euro was affecting his own national interest, and that is why there was Brexit. They left and then kept using their pound, pound sterling, as against while other countries in Europe. So they left Europe because it was not paying them. So it's not about ECO. Financial burdens of ECOWAS have been carried by Nigeria since 1975 when ECOWAS was founded. What has Nigeria gained? Nothing. So all these mounting these things and the rest. We need to re-strategize about our economic interest, about our diplomatic interest and the rest, and just not keep on spending money where we are not getting. If you go to ECOWAS, the politics of ECOWAS means that most of the big positions, francophone countries are running it. Go to Abuja ECOWAS Secretariat. Projects are run by them. The big offices are occupied by them. What is the workers there? The hierarchy of structure is by francophone countries. Yes, Nigeria hosts the secretariat. Nigeria is funding it, and Nigeria is not stamping its feet on about so many things. So the ECO is not going to work for now because we are not even ready for it as a sub-region.
All right. Thank you,
Finally,
Dr. Ambrose. Finally,
we have a little time to just get your thoughts on this. NIHSA is saying that about 17 states are prone to flooding within the next 7 days, from 21st to 27th of July. What are your thoughts on our readiness to combat flooding year on year,
What we should
since
do.
this has become a recurring decimal in Nigeria?
We are never ready. Nigeria is never ready for disaster management, especially this recurring one. Especially this one with rain flooding. Let's assume it's rain flooding. There's this one that happened around September, October, that is caused by release of water from some dam in Cameroon. That one happens every year. We know the time of the year it happens. Yet the government is never ready. Local jail gets flooded. Different parts of the country gets flooded. Then just make an announcement. You are telling people to evacuate. There are no alternatives. And over the years, this has been happening. So we are supposed to build a corresponding dam that will, collect water from this other one. We have not done that over the years. That was the agreement we reached with Cameroon for the other one.
Thank
you so much,
Dr.
very much.
Ambrose. Yes, for some reason we just had to end it here. But we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us from Enugu, the cold city state. We wish you a beautiful morning.
Enjoy the rest of your day, Dr. Ambrose.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
And that's how we conclude this segment on Morning Dew. We'll be right back with much more. Don't go away.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspective.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them. Recall that 46 pupils, teachers, and the school principal were kidnapped on May 15.
You are saying you are the chief security officer, but he doesn't have the power to control, call on the commissioner of police. The government has to step in to ensure that they get the proper mental health care, even if it means some sort of relocation from that particular community to somewhere.
That's a possibility.
Yes.
Where are we headed as a country if our children are traumatized from childhood?
When the chips are down, you'll find out that women are able to expand.
Your Voice Africa, showing every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dott Television.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
From Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli, this will be 3 for Arsenal.
Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: the broadcast media as a democratic catalyst, shaping public trust and electoral credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata.
CEO, Trend FM, Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, and Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706-701-8400, 0803-874-9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Boko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Recall that 46 pupils, teachers, and the school principal were kidnapped on May 15.
You are saying you are the chief security officer, but he doesn't have the power to control the call on the commissioner of police. The government has to step in to ensure that they get the proper mental health care, even if it means some sort of relocation from that particular community to somewhere
That's
else.
a possibility.
Yes.
Where are we headed as a country if our children are dis-traumatized from childhood?
When the chips are down, you'll find out that women are able to expand.
Your Voice Africa, showing every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dott Television.
From Harrison, that is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli, this will be 3 for
Station, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: the broadcast media as a democratic catalyst, shaping public trust and electoral credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheun Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata, CEO, Trend FM. Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. And Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo, Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, Media Personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706-701-8400, 0803-874-9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. only on Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. You're still watching Morning Dew on Dott Television. Yes, something stood out when we were looking at the papers. And it struck me, and I thought we should look at it. Maybe you have better ideas or success, or even myself, that eating beans with soya can, spike high blood pressure. Are they scaring us or they are cautioning us? I don't understand.
No. I think that's
Because
what they are saying
beans is
no,
protein.
it's not eating beans
eating
with soya
beans
and soya beans. Yes.
You know, you can eat it separately.
Oh,
and that it reduces the risk of high blood pressure.
Yes, that is what they are saying.
They use the word slash.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
It slashes
I thought it's
high blood pressure
by 30%.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment I read that, I said, please, those in the market should not hear this. You know why?
Yeah, so that beans will not become...
Yes, because the price of beans is definitely going to rise if that happens. But that also tells you, because now we're talking about genetically modified crops as well.
Yes.
I don't think that such products or such beans, you know, are the ones that are being mentioned, because we know that organic food comes naturally with what it takes for one to live a better life. It improves life when food is organically produced. And that is why it's telling us that, going back to our natural food,
natural food, yes. Even beans,
works.
we have our native beans.
Yes.
In my place, we call it akidi. I don't know what you call it.
Yes, absolutely the same.
It's native beans and it's different in taste and in texture to the normal black eye beans.
I think we also have it in my place.
Okay.
When it's being prepared.
Yes, I like it because...
How is it prepared?
It's the same way you boil beans and eat. It's just that...
You add oil?
Yes,
yeah, I don't think it takes a lot of time. It gets done faster.
No. That one, the native one, I think it takes more time.
It takes more time.
Because it's firewood they use in cooking it. But it's the food content is richer. From what I understand.
The nutrients.
Over time, I noticed that we don't see it again. When these other black eye beans came, there's also the brown beans. I don't know their varieties.
I prefer the honey beans, the brown beans. I think there's another one they also called
iron beans.
No, it's not the iron beans. There's a Yoruba name for that.
Brown beans. I've heard my brother's wife talk about that.
The brown beans.
But I don't know. I don't enjoy that one.
Which one?
I always like the black eye beans when you boil it.
Really?
Yes, when it's properly salted, and then of course you
know,
very soft.
The thing is, I noticed that.
Or when it is eaten with rice.
Oloye.
You
how
boil it.
How do you call that one? It is called oloye. The brown beans in the Yoruba.
The thing with oloka, for instance, is it has become a global one. It's global in this sense. Because we find that it is used for, that's what street sellers use. They mix it with plantain, with roasted plantain. So anytime you stop by to patronize a road seller who makes beans and all, you're eating oloka, perhaps without knowing. And it's actually sweet, you know, and it combines well with plantain, giving you all the nutrients. They also add vegetable like ozeza, to it.
True, vegetable. Plantain, yes.
Exactly.
I remember that's what mostly they use
roasted
eating
fish as well.
Exactly.
Yes, roasted fish. But, you know, so roasted fish now, adding all of those additions, those are things that can even increase
onion,
heart risk, risk of high blood pressure as well. Because you know that roasted food is not advised, especially when you're over 30.
Okay, roasted and fried.
Yes, roasted and fried food. Yes, so you reduce them as much as possible. You go more for grilled food at that point.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I noticed that these are native food. They are much more nutritious, like okpa. This okpa they sell is also from...
especially when you prepare it at home. I prepare my okpa at home.
This is mentality. Some people don't eat.
Mentality.
No, it's mentality. Some people don't eat outside.
What of the water?
Some people just have this feeling that any food prepared outside, you know, we are not sure.
You're not sure
water use and all. It's not hygienic and all that.
Especially,
we're talking about the food
to,
content.
Yes.
Listen to me. Once food is boiled hot in hot water and gets done, everything that you fear is killed. So always cook your food done. Well, that's the much we can do on that.
And soya, of course.
Yes.
Soya as well. Soya bean.
Soya beans is
all of them are
nutritious. It's really, really nutritious.
But the soya they talked about, soya is not easy these days.
The soya?
Soya.
Okay,
soya bean. Yeah, soya beans. And it is one of the richest plants.
Yes. I've heard people say that.
Sometimes you
I don't think I've ever eaten it.
Soya. No, don't worry. Maybe I'll get you and we'll have a tete-a-tete one of these days.
I'm waiting.
Yes.
All right.
Enjoy our soya in the office.
We'll just shift to a conversation that Morning Dew had on building collapse. we'll put it out there so that we
Especially now that we're talking of flooding.
Yes.
Flooding in 17 states of our country.
So let's see what that does for us. Happy viewing. Do I wish you?
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Two separate building collapses happened a few hours apart. The first in Rivers State, and then another in the Alakija area of Lagos State. Now, these are the questions that Nigerians are asking. Are these isolated tragedies, or do they point to deeper structural and regulatory challenges? What are the vulnerability risks that other states should be aware of? And what can be done eventually to forestall building collapse in Nigeria? I am Ife Areno, and I am here with a building engineer based in Asaba Delta State who will be giving insights on what he believes should be done to address building collapse or to forestall building collapse in Nigeria. Mr. Imamba joins me now. Hello, Mr. Mba.
Hello.
Happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start with your reaction to the reports of these two incidents. The first happened on the 25th of June in Rivers, and then the next morning we woke up to another in Lagos on the 26th of June. How did you react to this development?
First, thank you for having me here. This has actually been a thing of concern in the country. But last year, the regulation of engineering in Nigeria recorded about 8 structural collapse last year.
2025?
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
So this year, we've already had several cases.
With just half of the year?
Yes. With the one you mentioned, the one in Alakija, Lagos State, and that of River State. But that of River State was just pure failure on sticking to initial structural plan and bypassing approvals. I was watching a certain discussion on something like this, a topic like this on a known channel a few days ago, where an analyst, whom I have so much respect for, he was clearly talking about buildings and saying that a building cannot collapse by an accident, which in forensic structural engineering, buildings can collapse by accident. But I'm a builder, not an analyst. So I think logically, and I quite disagree to some certain points. And the points being that buildings can collapse by accidents. Just like you and I, we are humans. We die by accidents. So, yes, yeah. So what's a building that an accident cannot take it down? So, but there are engineering codes with strict lines that stands between predictable accidents or unpredictable accidents and avoidable structural failures. Accidents like gas explosions, for an example, severe fire outbreak, heavy utility vehicle impact on a structure can cause accidents. So therefore, a structure can go down by an accident. We have 3 major categories that these things fall into. We have the human error or negligence. We have the government systematic regulatory failures. And then we have the environmental and natural forces. These are where mostly the accidents do fall in.
Before we get into the details of what may cause, other cases of building collapse, apart from the one you mentioned, you said it was a structural thing. Yeah. The one in River. All right. Now let's look at Nigeria as a country. As a builder, I'm sure that you're quite versed when it comes to Nigeria's soil condition, perhaps the construction practices in the country as well. Would you say that there are other states who face similar vulnerability risk that should beware or take more precaution? And what do you think residents and authorities, regulatory authorities in those areas should begin to do now?
Okay, I don't think it's just a particular state in port. It's just because of the kind of structure we are giving to those states. You can use kind of an example. You rarely see high structures there because of the way they live their lives. So you rarely hear of such cases. Over here in this side of the country, mostly the south part of the country, I think is more of greed on the part of the clients. Because
when you say clients, those owners of
the owners of, yes,
okay.
some yes, our clients, our clients, and sometimes on our own parts. You get as a client, you should not, if you're going to build a house, I don't have a problem if you want to employ the services of an unqualified personnel, as long as you be the one to live in that house. You cannot employ such services, bypass approvals at the detriment of other people's life. You understand? So on the contractor or builders, engineer side of the problem, as a builder, your main job is to set up your team. You don't basically do the work as a builder. You do more of site managing. And your best duty is during the pre-construction stage, during construction stage, and the post-construction stages. When building, you should not bypass approvals or the initial floor plan, structural plan of a building, except it has to undergo through rigorous stages and approvals before you can change whatever you want to change. You can have a floor plan for a 2-story building, and at the end of the day, maybe clients will tell you, I have some cash to spare. Can we add extra floor to the building? Meanwhile, the depth of the foundation is for a 2-story building. Definitely, the weight of the load is going to affect the foundation. So, but for me, it's not just the contractor and the client. The government has a role to play in it as well, because you can't put people through schools while in universities. An engineering student will do more theories than practical. You get? I did my service with CCECC here in Delta State, a very reputable construction company in Nigeria. They don't joke with their test. They don't really joke with their test. They have a lab strictly for testing.
What do they test?
The soil test, material test. You can test even rods, the compression and tension strength of a particular rod, both bending it, stretching it, so that you can know the exact load to place on it. Because just like buildings, it has life expectancies. Country will tell you this building is for 100 years. Doesn't mean it can't exceed the duration that they gave you or the time that they gave you. But they are giving you because they know it will meet up to their target. And once it's that time, they will demolish it.
Oh.
Yes, and erect a new one. But here in Nigeria, we see a very old building. The government is aware of it. Why not just bring the structure down, and the agencies will go to the clients, just give them 1 or 2 things, and at the end of the day, they will just forget that same building.
Huh.
At the end of the day, we are holding just the clients accountable. No, you don't really do that, because if the agencies are working, the federal housing agencies, the professional councils of engineering in Nigeria, if they are really working, I don't think we'll have so many cases like this.
So what you're saying is that since states have records of when buildings are constructed because of when approvals are given,
Most times we don't have.
We don't have data.
Yes. The real data in Nigeria, it's not that we don't have data. We have data, but the actual data we don't have in this country. We don't actually know the total number of houses in Asaba.
Cool. That's serious. And who is supposed to keep this data?
Okay. First, is the government.
Okay.
The housing authorities, the Ministry of Lands and Environment, they are in charge of those areas. And I think most times a client will go through the necessary rules and regulations set out to erect a structure.
It's rigorous. Why do they bypass you? You kept talking about bypassing.
Bypassing because yeah, sometimes it's strenuous.
Okay.
You get sometimes it's actually strenuous because before I will attend to your document, I'm in an office and you bring a document for approval for me. Because maybe you've not given me one or two things, I'll pen your document. I'll now start looking for people around you that I can just, settle so that I can just do this thing and I have the money. But I don't want to keep this money so that I'll use it for other things. So we go through the process of trying to cut corners just to do what's in our mind.
Okay, but I thought there's this the housing authorities, and of course, I don't know how it works in Asaba, but they go marking construction sites and saying stop work and all of that. When approval hasn't been sought.
Yes.
So doesn't that work?
It works, but in most cases we know because maybe most of the clients or the contractor have not really come to settle them.
Okay, that's why perhaps.
Yes.
Is it settling or proper approval process? Because proper approval process is the person needs to just pay what the system demands and not.
I can go for proper approval process and it will take time.
Okay.
It will take a very long time because maybe I don't have anyone in the system. I don't know anyone in the system that can actually because as you're bringing, another person is bringing, there's a whole lot of documents in the office.
Well, that's why they are paid to work, to approve.
And we do it manually most times.
Oh, so it takes time.
It has to be a digital process.
It's important to address the process of approval so that it's easier on the side of the client and as well for the system to manage. That way we can begin to move towards having proper data.
Yes.
We're still talking about building collapse in Nigeria, concerns, issues, consequences, and implications. We'll be right back.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Now, let's go forward. There's something you said about life expectancy of buildings. Now, on this life expectancy, at what point will we get to the point where we are more involved or more serious about building safety in the frame of ensuring that old buildings do not keep standing and perhaps posing a threat to the lives of Nigerians?
Building is something that is actually delicate, that you need to pay attention down to every details, both from the plans, the mechanical plans, the electrical plans, the structural plans. Then we have the product information, which in rare cases we don't talk about it in Nigeria. These are where you talk about the project health, safety, and quality control. A 6 inches block from a bag of cement, which is a 50 kg, should at least have a minimum of 2.5 to 3.4 Newton millimeter square. That's its compressive strength. And not because you are building a house, you tend to mold plenty blocks.
Of course, so that it will be.
Look, it doesn't really work like that. If you want to know the actual duration, you have to work with the rules.
Awesome.
Then when it comes to cement grades, we have grade 20, 15, C10.
Okay.
When the C10 is, the ratio is 1:3:6, which for you to know these ratios, that means an actual building, you should know the total number of bags, sandcrete, coarse aggregates, and coarse sand that will be used.
So it's possible to tell even before the building starts.
That's why you have surveyors, you have consultants that do it. But they do add waste.
Okay.
They have percentage for the waste factors that they include. But once you get this quotation, you already know the strength of the structure that you're trying to put in place. But if you don't do similar cases like this, you will see structures like from the foundation already the walls are peeling.
Yeah. Oh, okay, the walls.
The walls are peeling due to improper damp-proof course and damp-proof membranes, thereby not sealing the foundation from moisture. Because the soil itself is very, very delicate. In Africa, Nigeria is like a whole new different level of lesson when it comes to soil texture, conditions, and qualities. I'm very sure if I ask you this question now, you're going to tell me no. Have you ever heard of volcanic eruption in Nigeria?
No.
Okay.
Even earthquake, there's one in Venezuela now, and killed. At the last count, 2,000 people have died. So it's
But in that incident, you still see structures still standing.
yes, heavy structure.
Yes.
So large.
Yes, still standing. But Lagos sits directly on the coast of Atlantic Ocean. But you've never heard any case of a tsunami.
Yeah.
Or heavy flood.
Yes.
Coming into the city.
Yes. Presently, we have flash floods.
Yes.
Which happen yearly.
Due to environmental conditions.
Yes.
Like drainages and so on and so forth, stuff like that. But if Nigeria is really blessed like that, I don't think the natural disasters are put into consideration here. It's just the human and the government's negligence when it comes to building structures. You rarely hear of an old building being demolished.
Yeah.
Sometimes the tenants in the building will not even agree. They will not just agree to leave.
That the cheaper, especially in states like Asaba where rents are very expensive. So everybody is going to old buildings to live. So you pay cheaper rent.
Then another thing is that the government is actually has mandated the agencies to take it down. But most agencies, when they come there, they will negotiate with the owner of the structure, and they will go. Or maybe the person has someone in the government, 1 or 2 calls.
So what's the implication of leaving such buildings that have exceeded their life expectancy? What's the implication? Just in case someone watching us now is living in such an old building that does not have to stay standing even now, given that we're talking of building safety.
Yes.
What's the implication of having such buildings still existing?
First things first, you're putting yourself at risk. You shouldn't be in such environment.
In such environment, not even in such buildings.
Not building such environment.
That means that even neighbors should be wary of such old buildings around them.
Yes, because a building can fall both ways. You can't really tell if a structure is collapsing. Most times it doesn't really fall straight down.
It doesn't cave in.
It doesn't, yeah. Sometimes it falls, a particle of it falls sideways. And what if I have a small apartment behind or beside the structure like that? Oh, definitely it's going to affect me.
Oh,
what if you live in a situation where I have kids playing in the compound?
Yes.
So situations like that really affect other people, not just you. But if the sections of the building codes in Nigeria are actually working, even the client would be very highly held accountable because...
Okay. Now we're talking of the consequences.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think the section 317 of the Criminal Act Constitution of Nigeria states that it's an involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, and the Urban and Regional Planning Code, section 74, states that this building is going to be forfeited. The property is going to be forfeited.
What you mean is the land?
Yes, even the land and the property itself, yes, will be forfeited because due to negligence. It's not when it's actually due to natural disasters or forces, just like the one that happened along the Banham Road where the trees fell, the billboards fell and stuff like that. It's not actually entirely the fault of the people that erected the billboards, especially because it's not just one billboard that fell.
Okay.
You get, okay, are you going to hold the government accountable for planting those trees?
Well,
okay. So these are things you look at. It affects the government because it's we are going to spend more on renovating
Exactly.
those things.
So now you're talking about the implications of this because most times we're just looking at the people who got injured and the tragedy of losing life.
Nice. Yeah.
What about the economic implication of this in our country? We know how Nigeria is today. A lot of people are even there is this issue, this economic challenge facing everyone today. So, what are the economic implications on the Nigerian system when buildings collapse?
Okay. It's going to though our insurance policies are not really effective in the country. So majorly some kind of situations like that majorly affects the client.
Okay.
It majorly affects the client. But in some situations, whereby it has to affect the government is in a situation whereby, okay, it happened in so area, and the road on that area leads to a major market in the States. Definitely is going to affect the business of the day.
Absolutely.
And you know that whenever each building within this urban territory they pay tax. So when a building goes down, you've lost the tax. So it's also affecting you as a government because you've lost part of your revenue. And if the building is a commercial building whereby the marketplace, just like the one in Lagos,
yes, businesses.
is businesses. So if one or two or three people are not doing business, of course, nobody from their own pocket, nobody is remitting money to the government.
Yeah.
So it's affecting you as well. But if you place strict rules and measures to tackle these issues, believe me, the error from the human aspect will reduce.
Yes. Yes. Now let's also talk about the burden on those who are affected. Perhaps for those whose properties were, destroyed, those in Alakija, that's Alakija building that collapsed, who will have to, that's if they are lucky to escape, who will have to start their businesses all over again. So can you also talk to us about these issues? Because sometimes we don't even remember them. And do we have a welfare system to take care of people who go through these kinds of disasters?
We have, but it's not really functional.
Because
It's not really functional because incidents like this in a developed country, you rarely hear of such incidents. But let's assume that it happens. There are measures the government puts in place to cushion the effects. Things like emergencies, health care system, fire service, environmental institutions, and everybody that will come into the space to at least help with this situation. But just like in Lagos, that people lost their lives and their businesses. Starting afresh is a really difficult thing. It's really a difficult thing because, especially in Nigeria, nobody is going to give you loan. Nobody is going to, oh, okay, there's this case that happened at Obanam Road by the bypass. It was an accident, truth to be told. A lady's shop got burnt by the husband. So, it's now telling on her because nobody will give you loan to start over again. Nobody will compete. Okay, the people in that area refused giving her space to even start again because of maybe the PTSD of what happened to the other people close by and stuff like
she
that.
was not the only one affected.
Yes. So if a building collapses here, believe me, about a certain percentage of people within this area will leave.
Oh.
They will leave because I don't want what happened to that neighbor to happen to me. Because
the market's a place.
Yes, if you watch structures really like this, it happens in a particular location. In a location whereby you have more I don't want to use the low class citizens. I don't want to use them.
Average.
Average people, because they are trying to just cut costs.
Oh, okay.
And live their lives.
Now, are building collapses preventable? Is it possible to prevent them? And what practical steps do you think government agencies, regulatory systems, and even the average citizen, what measures should we take, developers, house owners, to reduce the rate of building collapse in Nigeria?
Okay. You talk. The first question you asked, sorry, was
Is it preventable?
is it preventable? Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
It is preventable. That is why I said except in environmental and natural forces, you can't really prevent that. But the government and the human error, come on, you can actually prevent that. 100%. Because if you follow due process and read your plans very well and do what's on the plan that is being approved by you, you get what you're looking for. You don't cut corners while erecting any building. You shouldn't. Okay, there are places you can cut corners. Maybe you are in Ise Lupo, and one mama in her village is built her 2-bedroom bungalow. Of course, she's going to cut corners because it's not really a big structure, let's say, that can just fall apart. You get. But when it comes to commercial buildings or buildings that have deep foundations, we should follow due process, and the government need to assign a personnel, a qualified personnel, to follow up from pre-construction stage to the post-construction stage. That's where you see road construction workers. You see the Ministry of Works will send personnel. We'll go and let's see what they are doing.
Okay.
You get. So, is it preventable? Yes, it's preventable.
Okay.
Which other question do you ask?
Yeah, and of course you've told us that government can do a lot.
Yes.
But let's also talk about house owners, because nobody wants the economic burden of losing their house, of losing their land to the government because of building collapse. So what can house owners who are listening to us do differently to protect their buildings? And also, what can those in the neighborhood do for those watching us now and probably have old structures in their vicinity?
Okay. First, if you see a structure that's been marked, of course, the government has marked the property, but sometimes we don't really know the reason of the building being marked. Sometimes it can be that it's obstructing the road, a canal, or whatsoever. So your duty is to make inquiry why this building is being marked.
Where do I inquire?
You have the housing urban planning committees.
Okay.
You have the councils of the current Council of Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. You have Carbon, you have TopRec, you have ACON. These are agencies, bodies being set up by the government to tackle all this kind of situation. You, as a person living in the area, your safety is to yourself and that of everybody around you. So if you see situations like this, you make inquiries first. When you make inquiries, you follow due process. And you as a client, it's not because you are building and your initial plan is, oh, I want to build a bungalow. Along the line, maybe you just get one contract like that and there's money everywhere. And you now tell the engineer, please put staircase by this side, let's make it a story building. But the foundation has been already laid. It should not just be you as an engineer, the people you employ, the workmanship you employ, you don't overload a building, because a building has both dead and living loads. The dead loads means the concrete, the blocks, the rods, the windows, doors, because they don't move.
Yes.
They are there. But furnitures are they are living loads because you can actually move your furnitures around. you as a person is a load. If I'm to calculate a building, you calculate the load that will be imposed on such buildings, and you include other factors like human beings to it. You know the amount of people that should live in this structure, not because I built a structure and I will now start organizing church at the top floor, and thereby people living under, you'll be hearing the house shake and everything like that. So the duty is both the client, both the contractor, both the government, and you and I living here.
All right. So in this sense, we can still say if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Stay close to an old building. Make sure that that building still has integrity and that you're safe around there. Because when it comes to building safety in Nigeria, it is not just about engineering failures, or rather building collapse in Nigeria. It's not just about building or engineering failure. It's also about failure of planning, failure of regulation, failure of professionalism, and of course, it's about failure of collective responsibility. That's the sense that I can make from all that we have discussed today. Thank you so much, Mr. Imamba, for coming and for speaking to us about this issue. So what's your advice to residents of Asaba and people of Delta State?
Actually, Asaba is a very nice place. Have you heard of such cases?
No.
Rarely, because there is this regulation in Asaba. You rarely see two-story buildings. If you notice, if you really look at the environment, apart from commercial buildings like hotels, apartments, but once it's a residential building and you are building it because you want to have a structure, you stick to bungalows, a story building.
So there's a reason why building safety is part of the plan behind Asaba.
They have a smart delta kind of thing working for them, and most of their drainages, they place it on the ground.
Okay.
They channel them underground, because they know, just like Lagos, the flood that is happening in Lagos, it should be happening in Delta, but Delta has a way of channeling its drainages. Sometimes you walk along this Banam Road, you see one big drainage being assembled. They will try to bypass drivers and vehicles using another route and stuff like that, because they don't want the city to get flooded.
Okay.
It's a water area.
All right. So we give kudos to the Delta
State
that in this regard, and for those managing and the environment in Asaba. Thank you so much, Mr. Imamba, for being here today. Thank you very much. And just to quickly chip this in, when buildings collapse, most times we don't see that the contractor is arrested, except if the construction is still on. But for old buildings, perhaps the contractor don't Japan. So
yeah, actually it happens. But as a builder, you actually registered with some bodies like the carbon. You should be registered so that whenever something like this happens, there are forensic engineering studies for what actually happened to this said building. And in such situations like that, they will know if it's from your own side. Wherever you are, they'll fish you out and bring you. But we don't have... Yes, it should happen. It should happen.
Sure.
We don't have strict rules in the system, so that's just...
Thank you so much once again. Now, building collapse, as we've now seen or we now understand, is not merely an engineering failure. It is also the failure of planning, regulation, professionalism, and social responsibility. When a building collapses, dreams are buried under concrete in cases of fatalities. These are things that are 100% preventable. That's why we must have all hands on deck to prevent building collapse in Nigeria and promote safe environment for us all towards building a greater and sustainable Nigeria. I am Ife Aronu. Keep watching Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Welcome back, and you're still watching Morning Dew on Dot Television. From that conversation, or do you call it interview, on failed buildings and, of course, precautionary measures to take to avoid them next time, we are shifting to business. And Louisa, as CD, is already in the studio.
Good
You're welcome. Good to
Hello,
have you.
Louisa.
Thank you. Good
Welcome,
to have you also.
Louisa.
Oh, thank you.
You look awesome this morning.
I wanted to say that she looks all business-like.
Yes.
Yes.
So what's up with business today?
Okay. Let's start with something that touches every single kitchen in the country: jollof rice. SBN Intelligence has been tracking the cost of cooking a standard pot since 2016, and the numbers are staggering. In 2016, a pot of jollof rice cost around 4,000 naira. Today, it's close to 30,000 naira. That's an increase of more than 600% nationally, and every single region has seen prices jump by at least 400%. The Southwest has actually had it worse, with costs up more than 700% since tracking began. And commenters looking at the data say that it points to a familiar mix of issues: a weaker naira, insecurity disrupting farms, fuel and transport costs, and extreme weather hitting harvests. This matters beyond the kitchen because one recent survey found that most households have already cut back how much they eat, and a large share have skipped a full day's meal simply because they couldn't afford to eat. This is not abstract economics. Instead, it is real life for most Nigerian families. Now to something that ties directly to our next story, because it turns out that the pain isn't spread evenly across the country. New inflation data out this week shows that even though Nigeria's national inflation rate is slightly in June, more than half of the states, 19 states plus Abuja, are still living with inflation above 30%, with Niger State having the worst hit, followed by Kogi and the Federal Capital Territory. So while the national inflation number looks like it's improving, if you live in one of those 19 states, it probably doesn't feel that way at all. Food prices are the biggest driver, and analysts say this isn't really something interest rates can fix. Instead, it's about insecurity, logistics, and the energy costs. The everyday cost of just getting food from farm to table is enormous. And finally, to a more optimistic story for the Nigerian currency. While the naira is under pressure, there's a growing conversation about whether Africa needs one single currency altogether. A fintech expert, Benjamin Dada, raised the idea ahead of a major payments conference next month. He said a single African currency could make cross-border trade smoother. No more juggling exchange rates every time money crosses a border. However, he did say that Europe was able to manage it with 17 countries, whereas Africa has 54 countries. So coordinating that many central banks is a massive political challenge. So in the meantime, his advice is to focus on what's already working, systems like PAPSS, which lets African countries settle payments in their own local currencies without needing a shared one.
That's what you have.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right.
Interesting thoughts.
That one on jollof rice was very
please.
interesting.
Yes.
Even
Very
the jollof rice was
striking.
looking very
Very
appetizing.
Yes.
From 4,000 naira to 30,000.
30,000 naira.
Yes.
That's a lot, but we can all relate with that increase. But it tells a lot about what's going on in average families.
Yes.
So how do we begin to address the issue of scarcity of food, SDG 1, zero hunger, how do we begin to tackle it if we find that something like a staple food, rice, is even hard to prepare in families? Or are people going for
rice?
Yes. I wanted to say, because there are multiple ways to prepare rice. Are you sure that most Nigerians are not going through the other route? Because this is a properly prepared
Yes,
properly prepared
I
one,
would say
yes.
most
Even
Nigerians.
that brand of rice is,
Yes.
but is
Ba-
it
ba-
basmati
basmati.
rice?
There's a basmati
How
yes.
many people will afford that?
Yes, most people are going for the cheaper alternative.
Yes.
Now, 2016 to prepare standard pots of jollof rice was how much? 4,000. But coming here, you have to start thinking about so many things. Now, people, instead of using basmati rice, they will take things like, very cheap rice. All those rice, those local rice that have stones and sand in them because they are cheaper.
They don't have
Not
sand
really.
again.
It
They don't have
really
stones
must
again.
not
They don't
have sand. There
again.
are also local cheaper rice
cheaper
that
rice.
are
And
not
destoned.
having
That are
stones.
destoned as
Yes,
well.
they are stoned also.
Destoned, yes.
And some people go for, instead of buying tomatoes so much, or the normal regular tomato, they go for broken tomatoes.
Okay.
Or oil.
Or oil. They'll buy small one and buy like a sachet of maybe a pepper mix. Just buy that. They'll have that there. Then pepper.
And there are
they'll
also
buy
seasoning as
seasoning
well.
also.
That looks like the jollof mix.
Yes, they will
that
just
you
buy
can
the
use.
one. And maybe, for example, they might decide that, you know what, let them get tatase or shobo. Because it gives that red color. They will get it a lot. So people are just, according to what they say,
Is tatase that cheap? Is it
it's
a lot
not
cheaper
that
than tomatoes?
cheap
right now.
It's not that cheap. But what they do is that they buy the tatase, they buy the pepper, blend it all together, so that it will look like
It will
it's-
look like
give
it.
the same flair.
Like it.
Yes.
And then for protein, why not crayfish?
Crayfish is very
Yeah,
expensive.
that's what I'm saying. Or
Very
is it more expensive?
Very expensive.
It's
Going
expensive.
all out
You can
for
also go for the round dry fish.
Yes, round
Those
dry
ones are
fish.
so nutritious as well
Egg.
than the normal
that cheaper?
ice
Egg
fish.
is very
Fish is very expensive.
Egg is
now.
also
But
very
those ones
expensive, but
it's
what
okay.
people do is that they'll buy one egg, cut it in half.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they know that, okay, this half of the egg is for this morning,
Yeah.
And
and
later
the other
in the
half
day.
is for later.
What
in
of
the
Have
what
you
of
day.
the
really
four
got into
places?
that?
Half is the colossal
Yes,
expensive.
some people cut it in four
So it's Oloshe by
pieces.
Great Monkey by Company. According
Yeah,
to
and it depends
how
on
it-
how
how it
many
hits you.
how many mouths you
That's
need
right.
to
Yes,
feed.
how
That's
many
right.
mouths you
Talking
need to feed.
about that, we spoke a bit about organic food and how nutritious it can be. So even now that we're driving back, the level of poverty in the country is driving us back to organic rice that we have to disown. Perhaps we will derive a bit of benefits. That's not to excuse the fact that things need to get better.
Yeah.
But that tells us that
But when we
need to-
patronize our own rice, that is
Yes.
even good for us.
It's
is that
good
not,
for our
is that not-
economy as
is that
well.
a positive economy?
We've also
Yes,
seen
it
growth.
is a positive
Talk to us about what's going on in the rice sector, because when import was restricted at some point, we had more people going into rice refining, rice cleaning up our rice, and then more indigenous companies. So can you tell us a bit about what you've seen, and have you seen more local brands of rice in the market lately, for instance?
I have seen. There was a time I think I needed to do jollof rice,
Okay.
and I was thinking of, okay, I don't want to use a rice that is so expensive, and I thought about it, and someone told me about Uza rice. I used it, yes, and it does have.
What do you call it?
Umza is one of the
Uza
best
rice.
rice.
Uza rice.
Best
It does
local
have
rice
a
in the
funny,
market.
yes, it has a
Yes.
funny smell. But if you wash it properly, and it does have sand, but if you wash it properly and you use it to cook any kind of rice, it tastes fantastic.
Well, the bottom line is resourcefulness. Now that the going is getting tough,
The
we
tough
get tougher.
will get going.
Yes.
We get tougher to get going. Thank you, Lisa,
No
for
problem.
that package. We hope to see you on Friday.
Oh,
Thank you for
having
coming.
me also.
Well, viewer, stay tuned. We will be back with more on Morning Dew. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
The Delta Broadcast Media Organization, in conjunction with the Delta State Ministry of Information, presents the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0. Theme: The Broadcast Media as a Democratic Catalyst, Shaping Public Trust and Electoral Credibility in 2027. Keynote speaker, Sheon Okimbaloye. Anchor, Politics Today on Channels Television. Guest speakers, Ayo Mairo Essay. Anchor, Arise News. Agatha Amata, CEO, Trend FM. Samuel Fejoku, veteran broadcaster and senior special assistant to the governor on protocol. Guest of honor, Honorable Charles Ehiedu Aneagu, Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. And Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Guo. Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, the Executive Governor of Delta State. Convener, media personality, Ruki Onoro. Date, August 14, 2026. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. There'll be high-level networking, media interaction, capacity building, awards, and lots more. Register to attend on www.deltabroadcastmediaconference.org. For inquiries, call 0706-701-8400, 0803-874-9265. Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2.0, powered by Delta State Government. Sponsors, Dominion Pearl Homes and One Niger app. Supported by NTA, DBS, Quest FM and TV, Warri Sentinel, Trend FM, Mega FM, Baramatu Voice, Oko FM, Crown FM, Sleek FM, Eku FM, Big Heart Radio, Cruise FM, Atlantic TV, Rise FM, and Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. We are in the middle of the rains, the rainy season. And of course, the effect of rains are exposing some issues on environment. That's why I want to talk about environment, environmental sanitation, environmental hygiene, and of course, the consequence of rains on the our environments. We have in the studio a man who is at the helm of affairs at the Delta State Capital Territory Development Agency, talking about the Department of Environment. We have Mr. Isaac Wosu, who is the HOD Environment. You're welcome to our studio.
Thank you, sir.
Good to
Good
see
morning,
you, Mr. Isaac.
Good to have you, Mr. Isaac.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's start this way. Of course, the government had a vision to establish a state capital territory development agency. Now, yours is the Department of Environment. What is your job? What were you meant to do?
Yeah, basically, our job is to make sure that the capital territory is clean at all time.
Okay.
And maintain the aesthetic look of the environment and make sure that it is safe and healthy for every citizen to live. So there are a lot of activities that goes with that to achieve that.
Okay.
We do daily cleaning. The government has its part to play. The citizen has its part to play. So we are there to ensure that government plays its part and the citizen plays their part in ensuring that the capital territory is clean, safe, and healthy at all times.
Now, before you continue, sorry, you say daily. Do you really do daily cleanup? We don't see you do daily cleanup.
Yeah, there are some
We only
activities.
see activities during the environmental sanitation days.
No, there are some activities that are daily,
For
like
instance.
the road sweeping.
Okay.
Yeah, the road sweeping, you see them daily.
Yeah,
When
in
you
the
come
morning.
very early in the morning,
Okay.
from 5, 6, 7, you see that takes place daily. We also do what we call premises inspection, where we go from house to house and to ensure that people clean the environment. That is daily.
Okay.
So in between, there are some activities that are daily, some are routine.
Talking about your activities, you did mention that there are responsibilities of government to the people towards ensuring a habitable environment. Speak to us precisely about what's expected of residents of Asaba. We're talking about the Capital Territory. So let's start with Asaba. What do you expect from us? We all live in Asaba.
Yeah.
So talk to us about it.
Yeah, the citizens, which include you and I.
Yes.
What we expect you to do is to make sure that you clear your surrounding, your immediate surrounding, that is where you are residing. Make sure that it is clean. There are no overgrown grasses. There are no refuse dumped indiscriminately. The gutters around your environment is clean. Make sure you do that and properly package the resultant refuse in a waste bin. Then register with the people we call PSP, private sector participants in refuse collection. These are approved operators that comes to your residence to pick your waste from that your house to government approved dump site where the wastes are properly managed. That is what we expect you to do. By an extension, also the commercial premises. After your residential houses, you extend that also to your commercial premises. If every one of us in our residential premises and commercial premises make sure that we do this, basically we have achieved where we are.
Talking about packaging of waste, yes, I would like, because this is riding on what he just said. I know that in environmental parlance, sometimes we're told that all waste shouldn't go into the same waste bin. Can you talk to us about what we can
separation
do?
Of
yeah, we're talking that you are talking about waste separation. Actually, we are going there. That is a place we are going to. Okay. Actually, there are different types of waste. Now, when we say waste, we just feel that it's a useless thing. These days, no waste is useless.
Okay.
In fact, all wastes are useful. You have plastics. You have your cartons, you have your papers, you have your cans, you have your bottles. These are useful. You, as the source of this waste, you can sort that out on yourself. We have different collection centers. We have given approval to different collection centers, waste managers, who you can take those particular ones I've just mentioned. You sort it out. Yes. Take them to there. They will pay you for that.
The Paco people.
I'm telling you. No, that we are phasing out the Paco people.
Oh, really?
These are operators that are licensed, organized. They'll pick those. You take them to different centers. They have their different centers in town. You go there. They will collect those things from you and pay you. So you make money from your waste. When you remove all these things from your waste, you are left with what we call kitchen waste, food waste,
organic waste.
Organic waste. Which you can even in your backyard, you can just dig it and use them as manure. So at the end of the day, you'll find out that all your wastes are useful. So where you cannot manage the remaining one, then the PSP will come and pick it.
Okay.
So you can choose to use different bag to sort that out, or you can use different bin to sort that out. Even the PSP who comes, you can even sell it to them. Many of them are ready to pay you for those categories of waste. Not the organic, but the bottles, the plastics, and the cartons and all that. They're ready to pay you for that. So you just negotiate with them and you make money from it.
All right, let me look at this area. You talked about registering with PSP. We find that there are a few people who, for their personal reasons, don't register. And so, round about their premises, you have waste littered around. Whose responsibility is it to get those people to comply or to sanction them?
Yeah, that is why we are there. It is our responsibility. And when I say our responsibility, it's both the Delta State Capital Territory Development Agency, Ministry of Environment, Waste Management Board, Task Force on Environment. We have different MDAs in environment. It is our responsibility to ensure that this category of people register. One, we not just by force, we do sensitization. We do house-to-house sensitization. We go on air, just like what I'm saying now. We attend those things to sensitize the people to properly manage your waste by registering with those people. Whereby they refuse, we serve them a notice giving them a number of days.
Okay.
And if they fail, we have mobile court. The Delta State Capital Territory Development Agency has 5 mobile court in Ibuzo, in Okwe, in Asaba, Okpanam, and Ugboru. So wherever they are located within the capital territory, when they fail to comply with our notice after expiration, we take them to a mobile court and prosecute them.
Okay. Sometimes, or let's say many residents do dump refuse in waterways, which causes drainage blockage, stagnant waters, and often leads to mosquitoes and all that, which is not healthy for mankind. Okay, so I want to ask, what are the penalties that are put in place for those persons who dump refuse illegally to block waterways?
Yes. It's an offense. The environmental sanitation laws and other related laws takes care of that. If you are caught dumping waste on the drain, on any open space or anything apart from your waste bin, you have committed an offense. It's strict liability offense, and we will arrest you right straight to the mobile court. The mobile court, apart from certain days, they can sit any day. So if you are caught, and we, like recently, a security personnel was caught dumping waste, and he was taken to the mobile court. We have issues like that. People that drive their cars, you see them that they're educated.
Yes.
They are certain levels that they just drive into a space, they look around and open their boot and dump. We caught some of them. We take them to mobile court.
This mobile court, or these persons that are to cut this or harassed, where are they located or where are they situated? What are the days they operate?
Okay, we in the Delta State Capital Territory, we have our sanitation officers spread across different parts of the Capital Territory. We also have the task force, the marshals from the Office of the State Task Force. They also move around. They are also spread like
daily.
that. Yes. They're also on daily, day and night. So if you are caught, these people are there to see that, to monitor such
Talking about
offenses.
catching people, because a lot of times are we not quick to criminalize some of these things? Because when you are arresting someone, it means that the person has done something terrible. So how are you able to sensitize the people? I know you're on TV now and perhaps you go on the media. We know that in the markets, I don't know how often they watch broadcast media. How are you able to carry along everyone across the strata of society to ensure that everyone is informed about their responsibility towards the government or towards our environment in keeping the environment safe and habitable?
Apart from the media or online social media, we do market sensitization. We hold meetings with market executives. Sometimes we go to markets, gather them, address them. Sometimes we do streets sensitization, whereby we move from street to street with a public address system, informing the people.
How often do you do this?
Well, we every Thursday is market sanitation, and we use that as an opportunity to sensitize the market. Also, we have a program, a TV program every Wednesday, every Tuesday, and also every Thursday. Yeah, so every week. So we also use that. So each time we go out, also every month we also where we come out en masse and go out
like
and also
yes.
we all come out in a convoy announcing and talking to the people on what to do. We do that also.
How compliant have Deltans been? Let's talk
Residents
about
of the state
Asaba
capital.
residents. How compliant have they been? And how open have they been to interacting with you, asking you questions for clarification? Do you get feedback? Do you have systems or strategies or platforms for them to report things to you, like non-compliance of the PSPs and all?
Yeah, we let me start from the last question you asked. Yes, we have a feedback mechanism with other people. We have our numbers you can call. We have our agency numbers you can call. You have the waste management board you can call with other people. We're always open. Even we have a callback as dedicated line for that, for people to give us feedback, which we've been receiving. For the level of compliance, I can tell you for free that we are not there yet. You still see people, a lot of people are still recalcitrant on these issues. But they fail to understand that they are the first victim when there is an outbreak.
Of
Yeah,
course.
you are the first victim.
All of us.
If there's an outbreak of any disease, anything in your environment, you are the first victim. So, but the level of compliance is very, very low.
Now, let me come this way. You have mentioned different, apart from your Capital Territory Development Agency, you are the HOD environment. We have a State Waste Management Board. Then you now talked about task force. Now, these multiple bodies, how do your jobs, how do you manage? Do you have clashes, or do you always collaborate? Are there issues? Because different bodies doing the same work, is it making it succeed, or you are having some issues?
Yeah, it's one we must understand is one government.
Okay.
And the governor, in his wisdom, deemed it necessary to create different bodies. For the Capital Territory, it's strictly within the Capital Territory we operate.
Okay.
Whereas when you have the State Waste Management Board, is the state, and it's strictly on waste management. They are there to supervise the PSP license, monitor them, and all that. Then the task force are really they are the foot soldiers that goes out to monitor and people compliance and all that. So we have a very good level of synergy between all this body. We work together, we collaborate, and it's giving us results because we bring a joint force. There's just no way one person can be able to effectively.
I'll come in again. If you looked at some pictures shown just now, you have some people who build very beautiful houses, and then they will channel water from their kitchen or their bathroom to the roads. What is done to these people? Because somehow this is becoming a site in Asaba Capital Territory.
Yeah,
you will see a beautiful house, and then you see them. There's a conduit, channeling water to either the gutter or just to the bare roads. What do you do to such people?
Yes, you see, we find that in many houses, and especially hotels.
Okay.
Hotels.
Yes, and
to cut corners and eateries. Many of them are doing that. And but since we started going after them and with this sensitization and prescription, they have changed. They are beginning to change
because
that.
They have not changed.
Like these pictures you are watching is one of the people we prosecuted.
Okay.
That is what you are watching on the screen.
Okay.
It's a house. We will not mention the address,
No,
but seeing it, the person will know that this is house. It's one of the people we prosecuted. This was the evidence we presented in the court. You can see the wastewater being discharged from the house everywhere, messed up, become a breeding place for mosquitoes and the rest of them. You can see refuse dumped in the compound, showing that they are not engaging the PSP.
Okay.
So they were prosecuted and they were fined. And after that they comply. So what we are doing,
now?
Yes.
What did they do?
Yeah, they register with the PSP. We made them to register with the PSP even after they have paid their fine. Yes. They now register with the PSP.
What about the water?
And they remove the pipe. They have to now rechannel the pipe to their sock away.
Okay.
In the
so
compound.
They have sock away.
Yeah, they have. They don't want all these eateries. They have sock away, but they don't want to channel it there because they don't want to engage these operators that come to discharge them for you when they get
let's talk about the missing link, because if people do not understand the dangers of this practice, it's going to continue. You talked about the reason that they did not want to engage the PSP for the sockaway because it might get filled up earlier if everything is going to the same sockaway. Possibly, is that one of their fears? And why are people not forthcoming to engage PSPs? What is their challenge? That is one. Secondly, you talked about some of the health implications of these unhealthy environmental practices. Talk to us about it, because if we know what we are trying to prevent clearly, I believe that people who are rational enough will be more compliant.
Yeah, starting from the last question, the health implications, there are very many. By the time you create a breeding place for mosquito, you know what that leads malaria and the rest of them. You create a breeding place for rats. You know what that will lead to, and all that. So there's so many health implications that can be tied to unsanitary conditions. Then also you talk about flooding. By the time you dump waste into the drain, you are blocking the drain, and the water must find its course, and then you see lead to flooding, and this flooding can lead to destruction of properties and sometimes loss of life. So there are so many implications of what we are doing, both for us and the environment we are living, and which will eventually lead to loss of property or lives. So the cannot be overemphasized, the implication of those unsanitary habits that we are doing. So we are also we continue to educate the people, even when we are doing the enforcement. Sensitization is a continuous thing. We continue to educate, we continue to enlighten the people, we continue to host stakeholders meetings, we continue to engage organized neighborhoods like estates and people, landlords association, and the rest of them. We continue to do that to ensure that the people get the message.
The other arm of the question, the PSPs, why are people not quite engaging them? Is it too expensive? Are you
It
regulating
is not
the
expensive.
costs?
It is not. It is not expensive.
Or maybe
it's
they feel
between
it's expensive
500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. At highest might be 5,000 for a duplex and all that.
I don't think there's anybody that pays 500.
No, for it might be a maybe 1,000 for a duplex, and I mean a one room for a month. For a month. Yes,
5,000 naira for a month.
Yeah, for maybe for duplex and all those big houses. And otherwise, but which is not much compared to the cost of
and you're regulating, are you regulating it from your end to be sure that at no point do they get exploited by the PSPs? Do you have
Waste Management Board, like I said, Waste Management Board is charged with that activities of regulating the activities and the cost and the rest of them, and they are doing that. It's not arbitrary.
Okay, so is the agency identifying prone areas, and how are they bringing preventive measures to curtail heavy rain? And secondly, I want to ask you, since you're the HOD Environment and Capital Territory Development Agency, to what extent is climate change contributing to intense rain and flooding in Delta State?
Prone areas are mostly areas that are usually subject to flooding during the rainy season. What we do before the rainy season, we identify those places, and we go and make sure that we clear the drains, clear them, and sensitize the people to change their habits, not to block them after clearing. Because that is what we can do.
You actually get involved in clearing of drains?
Yeah, we do. Okay. From time to time, we clear most of these public drains around the capital territories. We do that. The government take that. Like I said, the things that government does, we do the clearing of those drains and sewers. We do that from year to year. We have carried out this year, and also even during the rain, we also do maintenance. So government does all that. For climate change is here with us. We see the effect daily. We hardly can identify dry season from rainy season. It's a global change, and a whole lot of things contribute to that. Our habits, our activities contribute to that. By the time we are dumping waste indiscriminately, we are cutting down trees. We some of the things we use affect the ozone layers, and these are all contributing to climate change. And that's why one of the things we are pushing, we are also advocating, is for people to go green. Ensure you plant trees and flowers around your environment.
How much are you enforcing that? This issue of planting
trees. We're not really enforcing. We are not doing enforcing. We are doing more of advocacy.
Creating awareness.
Yes. The other day I was with the Rotarian Club, and I would educate them, and after their meeting, they went and planted some trees. They went and planted some trees and all that. So we are more in advocacy than enforcement on that aspect.
All right. When you were talking, you mentioned another area of your duties, aesthetics. there was a time when government, gave instruction. I was in a particular city and instruction was given that houses in certain streets must be repainted because it was becoming unsightly where all of the houses on that street, their paints have washed off, looking very ugly. Now, are you people aware that there are some streets where, the houses there are really unsightly, and what do you do to make them, look nice as a state capital?
Yeah, those ones we are aware, we serve them. We serve them like we did in America, Babangida, and many of them comply. Well, those that comes to our notice, we serve them. Like I said,
do they have to come to your notice?
What we mean come to our notice is that when we go out and we notice them, we serve them and we ask them to.
Do you go inside where they call Imogbe in Asaba to see the streets? How they look? Because they're still part of
you see, we do, and we are also currently working with Asaba sanitation committee that was set up by the palace to ensure that we can get access to this Imogbe and have a good relationship with them. These are the old part of Asaba.
Yes.
And so
landlords are collecting high rent.
We are gradually
maintain their houses.
We are gradually entering there.
Okay.
Okay. Now that you're talking about your engagement with Ndino Sinimo Wenasaba, yes, and engaging with them, yes, probably Igbo any day,
interpret for the international community.
Okay, so you're doing that, and that's a level of advocacy that is important, given your responsibility. The NHISA warned that 17 states or more are at risk of flooding. The question now is Asaba prepared to not get in such lists over the years? Because some of these states, they did not know that this was coming over time. And of course, that we have the River Niger not so far. So
very
we're looking
close,
at,
not so far.
Yes, in fact,
it's
very
close.
It's just over there.
Yeah.
So you find that the issue of flooding, this is a community, a state that is surrounded with a lot of water.
Yeah.
We also saw
prone to flooding.
We've also seen states like River State, these are all in the south. So what do you think Asaba should begin to do, or Ndi Asaba, the residents of Asaba, should begin to do, or Delta State as a whole, to guard against being on a list like this in the coming years?
When we talk about this prediction, it is irrespective of your activity. We must understand that.
Really?
Yeah. It's more based on the climate change. Okay? So that is why over time, Delta State have continuously been in the list.
Yeah. Because of our location.
So we must understand that.
Yes.
So what we do are some activities before, and during, and after to ensure that the effects are limited. And that is what we are telling the people. One, if you are living in the lowland, you have those living very close to the Niger and all that.
Okay,
you need to move up.
The areas.
Yes, like we have that is Osonia area down to that jam down there that people living in that houses. You have the Infant Jesus down to the houses, people are living there. You have Otuogu side to Parkinson, people living down there. Those places are prone because they are it's part of cable too. So you need to move upland during that period. Another thing is that you must stop blocking the drain. Instead, open them up.
Okay.
Because when you open them up, when the rain comes, they have a channel to flow. The state government has moved into the second phase of this drainage construction. We're in the second phase that is running Summit Road across West End, that discharge across Old Anwai Road. That is the second phase, taking all the water from those houses.
Yeah.
And that is just to reduce the impact of this flooding because we are there. So these are the activities. So we tell the people, don't dump your waste indiscriminately because these are the things that block the drainage. Make sure you open them. And so these are the things we advocate. When we do all of these, then the impact, the negative impact will be reduced.
Okay.
Because it's not your, now the climate is here, so the rain will must come.
Of course.
And the heavy rain is what really is that the river must rise.
Yes,
So we cannot control that. It's beyond our control. So, but what we are dealing with is the effect.
How to
To
contain
minimize
that.
it, so that we can.
Now,
I hear you say that we are also the cause of, flooding environment and all that.
Yeah.
So what are the major environmental challenges that residents should be concerned about?
Is this indiscriminate dumping of
Just that's
waste and building on waterways,
Is it
water
still
channels?
happening?
It's
Is it
still
still
happening.
happening?
It's
Yes,
still-
it
people
does.
go there, buy water channels, fill it, and build without knowing
By
the
swampy
effect of it.
areas,
By the time you block those natural ways, the water must find its course. And in finding its course is what you see. God has, in his natural wisdom, has created channels, natural channels for water to move. So we shouldn't block that. We shouldn't do anything to block those. Instead, we should facilitate the
And
movement.
are you enforcing those building
finally
of
want to-
waterways? Are you
Yeah.
stopping people from doing that?
The Ministry of Environment, because on that level, the Ministry of Environment comes in.
Okay.
From time to time, they demolish houses on the waterway,
Okay.
and also currently working with Desopade, the state is also opening up so many waterways and channels, especially in the riverine areas.
All right, as we tail
like
off.
we have in Anwai River here, they're also opening it up to make sure we contain.
As we
this.
tail off, just 1 minute. You have been talking to people. You have been preaching to them on the need to adopt safe environmental habits. Can you do that in 1 minute as we close?
Yes, viewers, it's very simple. Make sure you clean your environment, your waste, your drainage, your surrounding. Make sure there are no grasses, no refuse. Properly pack them in a waste bin. Engage the PSP to carry out those waste to the dump site. And if you see your neighbor doing anything that is wrong, that will negatively impact the environment, report to the government authority so that we can do the right thing. We can make sure that your neighbor does the right thing so that we don't suffer the consequences.
All right, thank you, Mr. Isaac Musu, HOD Environment at the Delta State Capital Territory Development Agency. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all that you have profiled. We only hope and believe that we'll continue as a people to adopt safe habits for our own sakes. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Have a
appreciate
beautiful Wednesday.
Thank
Well,
you.
viewer, that has been our program today. Ify, what's your
Yes.
takeaway?
Of course, the idea that we should be our brother's keeper. When you report your neighbor for not being environmentally friendly,
Yeah.
you're saving the society. You're even saving that neighbor
That
as
neighbor
well.
too.
And you're preventing outbreak of diseases in your environment. Let's do the needful. If you see something, say something. I am Ify Arono. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, success.
Yes, and still dwelling on this environmental issue and indiscriminate disposal of waste, because the NHIS has also warned that 17
States
are
And it was-
flood
and it's
prone,
close Delta.
and it's very close. It's just how many days away?
7
So
days.
we should do all we can.
We're in the midst of it.
We're in the midst of it. So we should do all we can to keep our environment safe and clean, so we don't invite flood for ourselves.
All right, for me, I want to say that it has been a wonderful time today. Let's eat more beans. Let's look at soya beans and eat them.
Can we
So-
declare today Beans Day?
Beans Day.
Beans Day.
Well, that's
Beans
from,
Day.
that's from
Yeah.
Dr. Ify.
Mr. Musu.
You are
please
ensure you
have
eat
some
some
beans.
beans. And soya beans. That's how we end our program today on that light note. We'll be with you tomorrow for another edition of Morning Dew. Bye for now. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.